The night of the funeral was heavy with silence, the kind that presses against your skin and refuses to leave. Ashley sat alone in the old house, staring at the darkened corners where memories used to live. Her grandmother's last words, "Check the back of the frames," echoed in her mind like a riddle. At first, she tried to brush them off as the ramblings of a dying woman. But grief has a way of amplifying whispers into thunder. And soon, those 6 words became an obsession. The house creaked under her footsteps. She wandered through hallways lined with photographs. Smiling faces stared back at her family gatherings, birthdays, holidays. But now every frame felt sinister, like each one was hiding something. Her hands shook when she lifted the first frame off the wall. With a knife, she pried open the backing, and there it was, a folded document pressed flat against the wood. She unfolded it carefully, breath catching in her throat. A property deed, with her name on it. It was proof of ownership her father had sworn never existed. Her heart pounded as she rushed from frame to frame, tearing them open one by one. Behind each secrets were tucked away like veins of gold hidden in stone. Letters, journals, photographs of bruises her grandmother had documented. Receipts of hush money, even notes written by people who had disappeared. Every piece was evidence, not only of Ashley's inheritance, but of crimes that had been buried under silence. It wasn't just wealth that her grandmother had hidden, it was the truth. But the discovery was a double-edged sword. With every secret unearthed, Ashley felt the ground beneath her feet shifting. Her father wasn't just cruel. He was a murderer. Her stepmother wasn't just manipulative. She was complicit. The picture-perfect life they presented to the world was nothing but a stage set built on blood and lies. Ashley's breath grew shallow, her heart racing as she stumbled upon her mother's old journal. Inside were words written in a trembling hand. Words that cut deeper than any blade. Her mother had discovered their betrayal, had begged for safety, and had been silenced forever. Ashley cried that night, the kind of tears that leave you gasping, clawing for air. Yet through her grief rose a fire. She knew she couldn't stay silent. She couldn't let the truth rot in hidden frames. If her grandmother had sacrificed everything to leave her these breadcrumbs, it was her duty to follow them. What followed was a war in the shadows. Strange phone calls at midnight, the feeling of eyes watching her through windows. Threats scrawled in places only she would find. But Ashley pressed forward. She compiled the evidence, piecing together the puzzle of deceit. Every late night spent hunched over documents made her stronger, more certain. By the time she stood in the courtroom, she was no longer just a frightened girl. She was the heir to truth. A woman holding the power to shatter her family's lies. The trial was chaos. Her father's mask cracked as witnesses testified. Documents were revealed and whispers spread through the gallery. Her stepmother tried to smile, but Ashley could see the panic behind her eyes. The verdict sent shockwaves through the city. Guilty. The empire of cruelty had finally crumbled. For a moment, Ashley allowed herself to breathe. She thought it was over, but victory has sharp teeth. One night, long after the gavel fell, a note slid under her door. In messy handwriting, it read, "It's not over." A chill crawled up her spine. Rumors spread that her stepmother had escaped custody, aided by Barry, the same man who had once been her father's most brutal enforcer. Now they were free, and they weren't just hiding. They were hunting. Ashley learned to live with one eye on the shadows. She poured her energy into building a foundation in her mother and grandmother's names, turning pain into hope for others who had suffered in silence. It gave her purpose, but not peace. Every time her phone buzzed unexpectedly, every time she caught a glimpse of movement in the corner of her eye, she wondered if it was them, watching, waiting. The story of Ashley isn't just about betrayal, it's about the ghosts that betrayal leaves behind. Her scars weren't visible, but they lived inside her, whispering reminders of what had been lost. And yet she refused to let the darkness define her. She told her story not to seek pity, but to make others understand. Evil hides in the places you least expect. If you've felt the suspense weaving through Ashley's journey, If the tension has gripped you and refused to let go, then you already know her story isn't finished. The storm still brews and the danger is far from over. Stay close because the next chapter will be darker, sharper, and even more haunting. To keep walking beside Ashley as she faces what comes next. Subscribe to Shattered Bonds. There are truths still buried, waiting to be unearthed. And you won't want to miss the moment they surface. And remember, not every secret stays hidden forever. Some rise when you least expect them, demanding to be heard, demanding to be seen. If you dare to keep unraveling this web, if you want to know what lies beyond the shadows, subscribe to Shattered Bonds. Because this isn't just a story, it's a warning, and it's only the beginning.